Prior to the civil rights movement, and it wasn't civil rights, it was Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. The intact family, in the decades preceding that, the rate of intact families in the black communities was slightly higher. Yes, the black family was tighter. There was less single parenthood, less illegitimacy in the black family than the white. They were almost identical, but slightly better numbers on the black side. After the Great Society, it absolutely eroded the black family. Mothers were being paid to have children. They married the government. The rate, when Patrick Moynihan talked about this looming disaster of illegitimacy in the black community, the black single parenthood rate was 25%. I believe the white rate was 5%. Now, the single parenthood rate for blacks in the United States is about 75%. 75% of black kids are brought up without a dad. And now the white rate is 25%. And the outcomes for kids without dads. Single parenthood is the greatest predictor of poverty. It isn't race, it's single parenthood. The kids brought up in a single parent family, right, raised by moms, much more likely to have problems in academic achievement in school, much more likely to have behavioral problems in school, much more likely to be involved in juvenile crime, much more likely to be involved in adult crime. And to the girls, you can add to the list teenage pregnancy. This war on poverty has been an absolute disaster, and like I say, it led to the absolute breakdown of the black family. Who could possibly be against anti-poverty? You like people being poor? And so, over the last 50 years, the U.S. government has spent more than $16 trillion in its war against poverty. So how well is that working? Well, it's not working at all. It has fueled generational welfare dependency and economic resentment. Trillions of dollars, and the needle has scarcely moved. When Lyndon Johnson declared his war on poverty, the poverty rate was 19%. We now have a rate of 15%. What did those trillions of dollars buy? Nothing. Need it be said, America's poor lived the lives of comfortable middle class by global standards. In 1964, the children in poverty, the rate was about 23%. 1964, children in poverty, 23%. Now it's 22%. This has been wasteful and just a disastrous, fomenting nothing but resentment, dependency, and social apathy. Tax the rich, you might not know this, that the rich currently pay the vast majority of taxes. These taxes inevitably slow economic growth, decrease actual tax revenues, and hurt the poor. We see with BLM, although it's been since removed, they had previously posted on their platform their desire to deconstruct the nuclear family. And leftists rail against fatherhood, right? Women need men like fish need a bicycle. This nonsense that men are somehow superfluous. Women should be free of patriarchal tyranny, and fathers are absolutely unnecessary. Women can earn their own money and raise kids on their own. And we'll discuss in later videos this particular problematic. More and more women, relatively successful, can't find a mature, willing male to get married to and raise a family, so they have children on their own. This is awful. In addition to illegitimacy in the black community, we're seeing a rise in this choice motherhood. Women deciding to get pregnant, to have a baby, to raise this child on their own. Single parenthood is the greatest predictor of poverty. Children without a father have higher levels of anxiety and emotional problems. Young girls end up getting pregnant as teenagers much more often in a single-parent family. Kids without a father have problems behaviorally in school. They have problems with academic achievement. They are much higher rates of juvenile crime, much higher rates in adult criminality. It's absolutely disastrous. The outcomes for children from fatherless homes are, in relative terms, awful. Which isn't to say there aren't some exceptional cases, but the rule is fathers are important. Fathers teach young men how to be men, and they also keep their daughters in line.